So this is Dennis with Home Rehab Pros. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for watching. So I'm in a job that we have to repaint and get ready for tenants, or maybe the owner's going to sell the place. But the first thing I want to do is inspect the walls. I want to see what kind of damage is there. What do I have to do to fix these walls to make them paint ready? And in this job, we don't have too much, but I do have a few things that I'm going to do. For instance, these holes that you see behind me, we're going to test a couple different spackle materials on those and see how they work. So we're going to do a little bit of a material review just on two little things, two little items that I got at Menards. You can also get them from Amazon. And of course, you know, I'll have the link below for those products, just in case you like them. But let's take a closer look at what I have to do. So here's the damage on the walls that I have to patch. And it's probably because they had some pictures hanging or some mirrors or something. And they're kind of substantial. They're not tiny little holes. They might have had mollies in them. There's a couple more right there. And as we go into another room, we'll see some more. So let's go take a look at those. So these are the holes that I have to patch in this. This is the bedroom. The other room was the living room. So I'm going to use a couple different things here to test some spackle from different manufacturers. So let's see what I'm going to do. So the three products we're going to use are from three different manufacturers. We're going to use a 3M product. Now this is just a little squeeze tube. And it's interesting because they tell you that it's got this straight edge here to smooth it out once you pack the nail hole in. And then it's got a little pad on the end of the tube so that when it's dry, you can sand it a little bit. So you take that off of there and you just squeeze that into that little hole and then you flatten that out. We'll see how that works. It wasn't much. It wasn't even $4. And I guess for a DIYer or somebody at home who just wants to fill a few nail holes, this might work. We'll try it. These are a little bit bigger than standard nail holes, but we're gonna give it a go anyways. The next product we're gonna try is something that I've used before. You've even seen me use it in other videos. It's a DAP product. It is a fast dry. And it's really designed for larger drywall repairs. We're just gonna use it on these small holes. It dries fast. It says you shouldn't have to sand it before you paint it, but we're gonna take a look at that and see how that all works. And we're gonna see how we prep it and use it and compare it to that 3M product. The last product we're gonna use on a couple of these holes is a Red Devil product called One Time. Now I've never used this product. I have used the DAP product. I have not used the 3M product either before, so we're gonna do this together. So we've identified the repairs that we need to make. We're gonna go ahead and prepare our spackle. We're gonna just do a couple holes with each one of these things and see how they dry, see how it works, see how easy it is to use the material, and then see how it ends up drying. So let's go ahead and prep these holes. We're gonna get a utility knife so we can cut a little bit of loose stuff out of there, and I'm gonna get a 4-inch drywall knife. And I'm gonna get a little 1-inch putty knife. So those are the tools I'm gonna have, plus a drywall mud pan, a 12-inch drywall mud pan. I'll show you how I'm gonna use all of those and how we're gonna prep these holes and then put the spackle in. So let's get going, let's do it. So here's what I have. I have a 4-inch drywall knife, stainless steel. I have a 1-inch putty knife. This one's stainless steel too. Interestingly enough, they're not rusted even though they've been in storage. And they've gotten a little wet, but they're still pretty good because they're stainless steel. And my utility knife. This is just a simple utility knife. It's not a break off and slide knife. Those have their place, but not in something like this. And it's not a retractable knife. I have problems. I don't like those retractable knives too much. They are good for some things, but I just use a simple utility knife. Now, I'm gonna clean out these holes and get them ready for my material. And all I'm gonna do to do that is I'm just gonna make sure that I clean off any loose stuff that might be there. I don't want anything peeling up when I finally get my material in there. So let me show you how I do that. See, it's just take the edge and I clean off any loose stuff that might be there. It's not too hard. Let me give you a close-up. See, I'm just gonna take that just gonna take the edges off. Just clean that up a little bit. Make sure that there's really no, make sure there's just really no loose edge there in the paint or the plaster. Just gonna make sure it's a nice clean edge. And that's really, because these holes are a little bit bigger than normal. They're just not normal. It looks like they had bigger mollies in them to hold something a little heavier. Okay, and this one's a little bit high for me, but I'm gonna do it anyways. There we go. Okay, clean that all off. Clean that all off. Let's see, there's a little spot here too. I don't know that you can see it, but I'm not really happy with it. I'm gonna get my 4-inch knife and see if I can scrape. There we go. That's what I thought. I thought we had just a little bit of loose paper there, or loose paint. So scrape that. Get that all scraped off really nice. Okay, very good. Okay, so the first product I'm going to use today, and I'm just going to use it on 2 of these holes, is this 3M high strength small hole repair. All right, so let's see how this works. I'm going to use it on 2 of these holes, probably this one and this one. So let's go, let's do it. Let's see how it works. So I just really squeezed it into the hole. I put it up against the wall and I just squeezed and got some of that in there. Now let's smooth that out. Let's put a little more on there. And a little more on here. Okay, well, that worked pretty good. I'm gonna have to put a second coat on it though. So until that happens, I'm gonna put the lid back on it and we're gonna let that dry. Now let's go on to another manufacturer. Let's do the DAP on these 2 holes up here and see how that works. Okay, so I have this fast dry spackle. It's lightweight, it's good for larger repairs, and it says it's ready to paint in 15 minutes. So we need to mix this up just a little bit. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this, and I'm gonna put it in a drywall pan. And we're just gonna work that. We're just gonna mix it. See, all I'm gonna do is just mix it a little bit like this. I'm just gonna work it with my knife, pull it off a little bit. Just, you know, that's all I really need to do is just kind of move it around a little bit and kind of mix it with my little knife. And then I'm going to use a 4-inch knife for this. Now I could use that putty knife, but the 4-inch knife gives me a little bit a better ability. Just put it on there, and I'm going to pack it in there and wipe it off. And that's all I'm going to do. So I still have a little bit on my knife. I'm going to pack it in there and wipe it off. That's all I'm going to do with that. So I'll give you a close-up of this as I do one of these. And then I'm going to do another one with the tube. And I'll show you a close-up of that too. So here we go. That's what I have on my knife. And I'm just gonna pack it and then wipe it off. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, see? So that's as easy as that. Okay, so let's move on to the tube again, and I'll give you a close-up of that as well. So we're gonna move over to this one. So with the top off, I'm just gonna put it right to the hole, just like that. That's all I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna squeeze. See, I had some come out. Doesn't take much, and then I'm just gonna straighten it up. Oh, look at that. That worked really nice too. That's not quite of a nice finish. I might have to put a second coat on that. But actually, this little tube is working pretty good. Oops, backwards. This little tube from 3M seems to be working okay on these holes. So let's move back to the other room, and we're gonna try the Red Devil product. So I'm gonna prep these the same way. I already used the utility knife on them to clean off the edges. Okay, and I'm just scraping with my 4-inch knife. So as you see, I already prepped my spackle. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my knife, not much, just a little bit on my knife. And I'm gonna go ahead and fill that, wipe it off. Fill that and wipe it off. All right, let me give you a close-up of this. So again, that's what I have on my knife. It is the Red Devil product. And I'm just gonna fill it, wipe it off, fill it, and wipe it off. Okay, so there you have it. All of the holes are spackled. It doesn't take long to do that. So as you can see, it doesn't take a lot of work. I do like to kind of mix that spackle up, just a little bit of spackle in my metal pan, my drywall pan, just to smooth it out and make sure it's working good and there's no dry crumbs in it or anything. And then I can put it right back in the container. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. See, that's all the spackle I have left. And I can just, especially this one, it's nice, I can just pop that right back in that container and put the lid back on it so it stays dry. So I'll tell you, in my review, I like all 3 products. I don't think you can go wrong with any one of them. Let's see how they dry, and then if we need to put another coat on it. But we'll talk about each product individually as we finish this up, and then we get these walls ready for paint. So let's look at a couple of the holes that we did with our 3M tube product. As you can see, I need to put another coat on that. All right, and I'll do that. And down here is the same. It's just needs to be filled in a little bit more. So let's see how that works. Okay, so this time I'm just gonna put a little bit on it, just like that. And let's see if I can spread this out. I just don't like the tool that they used, or that, I just don't like this. I don't like the end here. It just doesn't work very well. So let me get a 4-inch knife. Let me see if I can use this a little bit more. I'm gonna put a little more on it, and maybe that'll work. There we go. That's a little bit more. And that seemed to work a little bit better. Let's try it down here. See, just a little bit more. And that worked nicely too, although, let's try this side. No, that's not working either. I think I still want it there, clean that up. Now that worked pretty good. You just gotta work with it, be patient. And I think that'll be ready to paint. And how about the top one? I'm still not 100% satisfied with that one. That one just doesn't look as well. So let's put a little bit more. Let me squeeze a little bit more on there too. And see if we can get that to work right. You know what, that hole's just a little too big. So I'm gonna finish that with another one. But this one down here looks really good. So maybe we just have to be careful what size patch we're using for this 3M product. But now let's go on to see what the other ones can do for us. All right, so now this is dry. All of it's dry. All the spackle, all 3 kinds are dry. And I'm gonna just scrape a little bit with my knife. Just to see how it looks now. Now this one, I used the tube, but I'm not gonna use the tube on the finish coat because it's really a good product. I really like it, but only for small holes. Maybe for little nail holes, little screw holes, not these bigger molly holes. Okay, so I'm gonna scrape those. Okay, and I'm gonna get more of that DAP spackle, and we're gonna put one more coat on this. So again, I'm using the dab spackle. I put a little bit in my pan, not much, and I worked it. I just worked it, squeezed it a little bit with my knife, not much. And now I'm just gonna put a little bit on my knife. You can see how I do that. And I'm just gonna put one more coat. Oh, that finishes very nicely. Make sure I got all the ridges off. Okay, that's good. Okay, and let me give you a close-up on these two over here. Okay, so you see what I've got on my knife? That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, I'll give you a close-up of this one. This one's a little more difficult. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. So you can see on the bigger ones, okay, that'll sand nice and smooth, ready to paint. So let's take a look at that Red Devil product again on those other holes. Okay, so these are the ones I used the Red Devil product on. And so I'm gonna scrape them a little bit. That's nice. A little bit of residual there. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so I put a little more in my pan, and of course I mixed it up a little bit with my knife, not much. Didn't need much. So that's all I have on my knife. So I'm gonna do that. And let me give you a show, let me show you a close-up of what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on and I'm gonna wipe it off and just make sure that any ridge is off of there. So let's take a closer look at these. Those are pretty nice. So here we are. Those three products have been used on this job. How would I rate them? Well, let's take a look at our 3M. I don't care for the way it worked on this job. The holes were a little bit too big. Although they did fill the hole, and I guess if we don't use this and we use just a regular putty knife or a 4-inch knife, I think it would work okay. Not a bad product. I would just use it for the right things. Let's look at this, our DAP product, our fast dry DAP product. This is good. I don't like the small container, the round container. It gets a little bit hard to get this spackle out of there, and then you got to mix it up, and which you do all spackles. But the spackle itself worked really nice, didn't shrink. You don't need to sand it. It dries really fast, and you can work it or put a second coat on it if you want to. So that worked really nice. The one-time product by Red Devil, this I like the most. It's nice and creamy. It's a nice square container, although you can get it in round containers as well. It worked really, really nice. It smoothed out really nice. It mixed really nice. Very comparable to the DAP product. They're both about the same, but I would just give the edge to this Red Devil one time. And you know, it just worked a little bit better for me. That's all I can say. DAP was fine if that's all you can get, but if you can get this one time, man, you won't be sorry. So with all that being said, thanks for tuning into our review today. We really appreciate your time, and we appreciate that you watched this video. If you really liked it, please smash that thumbs up button. Help us with that. And please subscribe if you haven't already. That'll help you know when other videos are available. And so for Home Rehab Pros, this is Dennis. And you know what? We'll see you in the next video.